We did pull it off where we didn't set appointments right away. We pushed it out a week or a few days to let a couple build up, to build that sales pressure. We have two people that were both here today. They both know now there's a third person possibly. Just them knowing that makes them want to possibly put an offer in to not lose the house or possibly pay more. People take action more on when they are about to lose something than when they're about to gain something. So if they realize they're about to lose something, they're going to act on it.
You're listening to the Your House, Your Equity podcast, Home Sellers Edition, where we help homeowners like you to sell your house and save your equity. Hello and welcome to the Your House, Your Equity podcast. We are doing something very different and very exciting today. So we're actually not sitting in a cushy studio. We are sitting in front of a house that is currently on the market, and we are waiting for some appointments to arrive to come and look at this house. We've got a couple stacked back to back, and believe it or not, the owner of this house is Vin, and he is going to be showing this house, and I'm just here along for the ride. We're going to get some really juicy content for you today, so stay tuned. Again, as I said earlier, this is definitely a very different episode than we normally do on the Your House, Your Equity podcast, but Vin was so nice to agree to let me document his entire experience as he is showing his house. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of this on my own here, and Vin, we're going to try to get his comments on it as we can through the whole process. And by the way, for any of you out there who have friends or family who are in the process of selling their home or about to sell their home, feel free to share this with them, because this is a really cool kind of live experience, if you will, and kind of play-by-play, as Vin has been so nice to let us kind of go through the whole thing with him. And so we're excited to share it with you, and you can feel free to share it with others as well. All right, everyone. I just witnessed Vin's first showing here. It was a nice young couple that actually came with one of their kids, and they were working with a real estate agent, so it wasn't as smooth as it could have been if they did not have a real estate agent involved in the transaction. It seemed like they really, really liked the house. The real estate agent was asking a lot of questions, so Vin wasn't fully able to take as much time to talk to the potential buyers, although it did seem like they really liked it from the few things that they were saying. It's always harder when there's a real estate agent in, because they're not necessarily as concerned about selling your house, they're just concerned about selling a house. So she may decide to kind of sway the clients, the potential buyers, into purchasing a different home where her commission may be included, because they did know that it is not included, as we always say here at Your House, Your Equity, that we do not include a real estate agent's commission necessarily in the purchase price. And even if you do, you should definitely keep it to 2% max if it's a buyer's agent commission. Now, if you are listing, we always recommend that if you're going to list with a listing agent, that you don't pay more than 4%, because again, most real estate agents are happy to take that, but they advertise that they want 6. But if you can talk them down to 4, that's a lot better. So in this case, even if it does not work out, that is okay, because Vin has another appointment lined up for immediately after. So we're going to see how this goes. All right, so I finally got a chance to catch up with Vin, as he's been doing back-to-back showings today. So Vin, you just ended your second showing. I was going to try to interview you about the first one and then have you do the second, but you were quite busy today, weren't you?
Yeah, that's the way it is. When we stack the appointments, we try to build that sales pressure and just have it where we have a lot going on all in one day. We don't like to waste our time. We like to try to get the house sold in one day, and it also builds up that suspense of people wanting to compete with each other to buy your house.
So let me ask you a question. I was kind of doing the play-by-play documentation as you were doing your showings. So the first couple that came, they came with a real estate agent, and it wasn't as ideal as it could have been, but it seemed like they really liked it. But what was your take on the action and everything that happened?
Oh, yeah, they did seem like they liked it. We won't know for sure until they make an offer, but we gave a lot of bonuses, a lot of incentives to, not only did we give our regular bonuses that we had, a bonus stack, we also gave an extra bonus if they make an offer within the next 24 hours. As you know, in the course, we like to talk about incentives, and that's for people to make that decision quick. So I thought it went good. My ideal way is showing it directly to the buyer to not have any middleman involved. But that's how our second appointment went. So I did enjoy that one much more.
Okay, so the first people, again, you had the real estate agent. And I mentioned before that you had in the ad that you were not going to be paying a real estate agent commission. How would that work out then for those who are listening, for those that don't know? How would it work out if they did make an offer, the first people that came through, if they wanted to buy your house? You're obviously not going to be paying a real estate agent commission, so you're going to be asking them to pay it. Is that right?
That's exactly right, and that's a great question. So this whole situation is really interesting because these people actually came to me a while ago looking at this house, and then all of a sudden now they brought a real estate agent with them. And the real estate agent had already wrote me and said, hey, we can add it to the purchase price, the commission. So then that was the only reason I was even willing to show it, because she said that. Now I'm going to leave that between her and them, because if they make the offer, and it doesn't include that extra commission, I'm going to remind her of her text that she sent me. And also, I'm going to remind the other people of the ad itself, saying that if they're interested in the house, that they have to add the real estate commission onto it. So that's between them if they want it. I'm not willing to pay the real estate commission, and so it'll be interesting if they want it. But that's why I like to sell directly. I don't like to have an extra person in the middle there. It's just another pocket that wants to get paid. And in reality, as you know, you don't need a real estate agent to sell a house. You need the house, you need the buyer and the seller. A real estate agent is not necessary.
So now back to the second appointment. I know it was definitely different because there was not a real estate agent involved. How did that one go?
Well, I think it went great. We're just waiting for them as well. They got a decision to make. Again, they got a decision to make that if they don't make that decision in 24 hours, they're going to lose a credit that I gave them. It happens to be a hot day here today. It's close to 90 degrees, and upstairs in the house a little warm. It doesn't have central air. So just for everybody listening, what I did is I gave a $2,000 central air credit to put central air in. That would be a credit that they would get back at the closing if they make a full price offer in the next 24 hours. So pay attention to what I did. They got to make a full price offer in the next 24 hours to get that. That's the incentive. That's how you get things done if you're willing to do an incentive like that. So it's something for them to think about, because they said in their house, one of the things I heard them say is their house is hot too, and they don't have central air. So I brought that up again to them when we were outside. And during the appointments, I'm listening about what they like about it, and I brought up about how they live right now. If they have a lot of space outside, a big yard, they said no. And then I got to highlight that this house has a lot more room outside. It comes with a third of an acre. So I thought the appointment went great, and it was a lot more comfortable with no middleman involved. I like dealing directly with the person buying. So I thought it went great. We just have to wait. Again, you don't know until you get that call or text back. But she did say she's going to text me back. And the first people also let me know. They said they're going to let me know either way.
So this is some definitely valuable information for everyone listening who is going to sell a house, or if their family or friends or anyone is going through the process of selling a house or is going to, that they can definitely share this podcast. This is kind of like live in action as it's going. Definitely something different than we normally do. But just since that's kind of the audience that would appeal to, for someone who would be listening who is in that situation, what advice could you give them if they're kind of struggling to get more appointments? How did you set it up? Obviously you had 2 today. You have another person who absolutely is interested, and you're just kind of waiting to see how that's going to go. So you have 3 potential offers that could come in. How did you do it so that someone else can kind of duplicate this?
Well, use everything you can. That's how you do it. Use all the good things in the house and the property that you can mention. If you're able and willing to offer any incentives, you use it. You maybe keep 1 or 2 of them back for that quick action bonus, and you give maybe some other incentives as an overall incentive to draw the people in to look. but you always save something later for them to take that fast action. And our other appointment, like Elle was just mentioning, it's another person that wants to buy a house in cash, but they're waiting for inheritance. And it's been taking a while. And so what I do is during the appointments, I mention that. I mention that during the appointment with other people. So for the first appointment, I mention, hey, we got someone coming after you. And I also mention, hey, we have someone else that may be willing to buy us in cash. They're just waiting for their money, to let them know, hey, look, if you snooze, you lose, right? And also those incentives, they go away too after 24 hours. For the ones that we give them that deadline. For the second people that came, I let them know the first people looked at it, and I also let them know that there's another guy that's also interested in buying it as well. But use everything you have. Each situation is different. Today, I'm going to give everybody a really good tip here. People take action more on when they are about to lose something than when they're about to gain something. So if they realize they're about to lose something, they're going to act on it. So hopefully we have some good news on a follow-up update on this podcast, and we can complete this. Hopefully one of these two people, if not, maybe both, make an offer. And then the whole goal is, if you can pull this off, is we did pull it off where we didn't set appointments right away. When people contacted us, we pushed it out a week or a few days to let a couple build up, to build that sales pressure. So you want to try to do that. You want to build that up. And so I'm hoping now what that does is that could possibly set off a bidding war, or at the very least, somebody interested in buying it. And it's interesting when this happens because we have two people that were both here today. They both know now there's a third person possibly. Just them knowing that makes them want to possibly put an offer in to not lose the house or possibly pay more. We've seen it happen, and we've done this stacking thing other times before that we got $10,000 over asking price.
So having a real estate agent present for the first showing, did it make much of a difference? I know sometimes real estate agents can sometimes ask extra questions, or it's just kind of an extra person there, but did it affect your showing at all?
Well, I think it affects the overall mood of the showing. And it does depend on the real estate agent. I've had some real estate agents that have been great to work with, and others that really made the showing not go well. So ultimately, I don't want a real estate agent there because I like to deal directly with the people buying. And my experience is so much less stress and so much more carefree, and it flows so much better when you're just dealing directly with the buyer.
Now, I know there are some situations where some people could be in a tight spot, or they don't have a way to sell their house. Maybe they're out of the area. Maybe it's someone who's elderly and needs help selling their house. They need someone to kind of represent them. In that situation where someone feels more comfortable, or it would be helpful for them to have someone else involved, would you recommend maybe instead of a real estate agent, maybe a family member or someone, even a trusted neighbor who can maybe do that for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have somebody in your family, if you're elderly, or you might have a son or a daughter or a grandkid that could help you, it's not a complicated process if you follow the system and take it step by step. So we have, for those of you who actually have taken our course, as you know, we have different clubs, different levels. We have the 0% club where you would put your house online or list it, and you would find your own buyer. But then we also have where we teach you to negotiate. If you wanted to use a real estate agent, let's say you absolutely needed, let's say the property was out of the area, you couldn't do it, let's just say that you weren't able to do it for whatever reason, we teach you how to negotiate that commission down to 4% or less, and they will handle the listing of it and finding the buyer. We also have another club, which is a 2% club, which I feel like everybody should strive for that at the minimum, because listing your house is not that complicated of a process, putting online, putting on Zillow or other platforms that we teach you. And once you get it on there, then you can allow a real estate agent, if you choose, to bring a buyer. And then you can negotiate that commission, and you put it right in ad, 2%. So I feel nobody should pay more than 2%. And in that particular case, they're bringing the buyer for you, and at least you save 4%. So yeah, in some circumstances, there is a need for a real estate agent. If you're out of the area, if you can't handle it, you might be too busy, for different various reasons, or you might just not want to do it. But you do want to save money. We can show you how to save at least 2% of your equity or 4% of your equity by following those different paths that we just said.
So basically, just to recap, the three options that people really have, and for those who have taken the course, you already know these as the clubs. So we have the 4% club, which is someone who would list their property with a real estate agent. So the real estate agent is going to get a commission of 4%, not 6%. We always recommend at Your House, Your Equity that you negotiate a commission down to 4%.
4% or less, L, because now we're seeing that some real estate agents can be negotiated down to 3%. So save as much as you can, people.
That's right. Negotiate as much as you can. Get that as low as you can. You owe it to yourself. And then for the 2% club, which is another option we have here, you can list your home yourself. It only takes about 2 hours. And again, if you haven't taken our course, we'll walk you right through that whole process, and it's very, very easy to do. We give you screenshot instructions and everything. But for anyone who has not taken the course, if you're comfortable with doing it yourself, it's really not that hard to do. And that saves you another 2%. Let's say instead of listing with a real estate agent for 4%, you list it yourself and you keep half of it. So that already cuts you down to half of what you would have paid if you were in the 4% club paying that commission. And in reality, from where you would have started at 6%, 2% is great.
Just give them an example of what saving 2% or 4% means on an average house.
That's right. Good point. So the average commission paid on a house in the United States is about $30,000 at the 6% mark. That's a lot of money. That can change your life.
Obviously, your house might be a different price. It might be higher or lower. So you can just do your calculations to see how much you would save if you save 2% or 4% or even 6% of your equity.
Now, if you were to take our advice and list with a real estate agent at 4%, you're cutting that down to $20,000 on average. But let's say you decide, you know what, I'm going to list my own house, and if a real estate agent comes with a buyer, then I'll pay them half. I'll pay them 2%, which is totally fair. That would actually take you down to $10,000 out of that 30 on average. So if you want to know more about where we got those numbers from, if you haven't already, you can watch our free webinar, How to Easily Sell Your House and Keep Your Equity. We go through all of that information in there. But just for the sake of staying on track here, you absolutely have the option to not pay a real estate agent commission at all. You can choose to list your own property, to also put in the ad of your property that you are not willing to pay a real estate agent commission. That way, either the buyer pays it themselves or they come to you directly and there's no middleman involved. So you really can't lose in that situation.
Don't be worried about putting in the price of your house and then adding the clause in that we teach you about that a real estate agent commission is not included, because remember something, it's the house people want. People want the house. That is the thing that once people start realizing that, that again will start the movement going faster and faster, because it's the house that is the main focus. The buyer wants the house, the seller wants to sell a house. And so we need to get back to the basics on that.
Well put, Vin. Well put. So for everyone listening, thanks for tuning in. We had definitely a little bit of a different day today for the podcast, and we hope you enjoyed it. And let us know if you did. You can let us know in the comments below. That way we know to make more content just like this for you. So again, we're here to help you. We care about the homeowner. We care about you saving your equity, and that's why we do this.
Yep, and if there's any other topics you want to hear about, let us know, leave comments. And we not only want to help you save your equity, but we want to help you with all different things for your house, whether it be home improvements. Elle, why don't you tell them a couple other things that we might help them with in the future?
Yeah, so we've already kind of explored doing more of like home improvement things and episodes and giving you more information about that. Also quality home products, things like that. So we're getting a lot of suggestions and a lot of requests. So we're working on incorporating everything that you want to hear, because again, this podcast and everything that we do is for you. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. All right, people, I'm back with another update. Vin is here and he has something to tell us.
Yes, we left off. We were waiting to hear back what was going to happen with those 2 showings. Well, the second showing, the one without the real estate agent, wrote me and said they want it. And I don't know, maybe about an hour later, hour and a half later, I got back to them right away, and we're doing the paperwork tonight. Rather than saying, oh, we'll do the paperwork in a couple days or tomorrow, we're doing it tonight. Well, everybody's excited, everybody wants to do it, and I got to go work on that and go meet with them tonight.
All right, so congratulations. And I think this is probably my favorite podcast episode so far because we got to literally follow you around all day as you went through showings, one with a real estate agent, one without a real estate agent, 3 people potentially interested, and you did get a full price offer and it is now officially under contract. This has been really cool to watch. How does it feel to have it under contract and kind of at the end of the day?
Well, it feels really good, and I hope other people can learn from this and be in the same situation soon and get your house sold and move on with your life, and that's what we're here to help you with.
My name is Vin.
And my name is Elle, and we're here to help you sell your house and
save your equity.
You're listening to the Your House, Your Equity podcast, Home Sellers Edition, where we help homeowners like you to sell your house and save your equity. As always, thanks for listening. And if you want more great content like this to help you sell your house quickly and easily, with or without a real estate agent, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share, and you can also follow us on social media using any of the links in the description. And of course, you can always visit us at yourhouseyourequity.com. Thanks for listening.
Your house, your equity, join the movement.